Valheim, an incredible survival game where you can build Viking villages, sail to the ends of the world, and fight epic enemies. A game with near infinite possibilities and so much to do.
But your character is constantly hungry and seems to be an absolute food vacuum. So we can't do any of that fun stuff until we eat. In today's video, we're going to talk about the food system, how it works, why it's important, and then talk about some good foods. So first things first, the food system. If you look in the bottom left corner, you can see my HP, pretty terrible right now. 25 HP, most strong enemies would absolutely destroy me at that HP. When I start running, you'll also notice that my stamina is only 3 bars. That's not a lot and doesn't let me do a whole lot. So to counter this, there are food items. Now I could have up to 3 food items running where I get their benefits. Their benefits include health, stamina, and healing per second. These bonuses will allow me to do more things in the game at a much higher level. So let's go ahead and apply 3 different types of foods. I have to do this because I cannot duplicate what food I'm on. I cannot have, for example, 2 cooked meats running at the same time. So I have put together a yellow mushroom, a cooked meat, and a cooked fish. And this will give me more health as it adjusts and I heal up. And also you'll notice that now I have a whopping 6 stamina bars instead of 3. So I can actually, play the game. When we talk about foods, I generally put them into 3 different categories. We have foraged foods, which are berries, such as raspberry and blueberries, and as well as mushrooms. We have cooked foods, which are the standard cooked meat, cooked fish from fishing, and also include necktails and lox meat. And finally, we have a category that I call farmed foods. Examples of this would include honey, carrots, turnips, and eventually, when you get to the plains, barley as well. Now, a lot of foods can be eaten the way they are, such as these berries. I could consume these berries for very light buffs, but they would not really go that far, and they're not really that much of an improvement, as opposed to some of the better foods in the game. Oftentimes, these foods are going to be used as inputs to get even stronger foods. So remember, you don't always want to eat directly the source food. Sometimes you're going to want to cook them at the cauldron or use them for other purposes. And I also want to note that honey is used in a lot of the meads, which are Valheim's equivalent of potions. So you don't necessarily want to be eating honey in its natural form. You want to be converting it into stronger items. So let's talk about what foods exist in this game and what is really strong, what is not so strong, and go from there. Whenever I want to look up information such as the health value, healing per second, stamina value, or duration for any given food item, I've been utilizing a website called valheim.fandom.com/wiki/food. On this web page, they have a list of all of the foods, their icon in game, as well as the information about what they provide to you, and it's also in a table format where you can sort it. So for example, if I wanted to find out what the best stamina items were, I would sort by stamina, highest, and I would see that the best stamina items in the game are the fish wraps, serpent stew, lox meat pie, bread, carrot soup, and turnip stew. Now, I want to point out that of these items, almost none of them are direct ingredients. These are items that you have to craft in a cauldron to make your base food pieces into better food pieces. Oftentimes in Valheim, you want to make sure that your basic materials are not being consumed directly, but rather you're crafting them into these much stronger foods so that you can go into harder biomes where you're going to need the higher stat levels to succeed. Now, if you look towards the bottom of this list, you will see a lot of the basic ingredients that I was discussing earlier. You'll see a lot of the forageable items, such as the berries, such as the mushrooms, the honey, for example, and carrots. And now, while all of these ingredients may be not fantastic to use on your own, you might use them if you need stamina around your base camp, or if you just want to take a journey where you want additional stamina, but you don't want to spend any really powerful food. The goal is to be converting these items into these items. So for example, the Queen's Jam can be created by combining 8 raspberries and 8 blueberries to make 4 Queen's Jam. Now the Queen's Jam is going to be more powerful than the berries, and it's only going to take up 1 of your 3 precious food slots. Now if we go up here, I'm going to point out that of these stamina foods, the top 4 are all going to require a component called barley. Now this is fairly rare at this point in the game because it can only be found in the plains, either in goblin camps or you have to set up a farm in the plains, which means setting up a base at a very dangerous area of the game. This is why carrot soup and turnip stew are going to be some of your best creations for food that will give you stamina. So carrot stew and turnip stew each will provide you with 60 stamina. Now carrot soup can be created with 1 mushroom and 3 carrots. Mushrooms you can find fairly easily in your first 2 biomes, the meadows and the dark forest, and carrots can be produced in a farm that you have on your base. To make turnip stew, you need 1 raw meat and 3 turnips. Again, raw meat can be found on almost all creatures with the exception of specific meat creatures like necks and locks, and turnip can also be grown in your farm. So you want to take some of these base materials, craft them into better food items, and these better food items will usually last significantly longer to make up for the fact that you're spending a lot of those ingredients. So all around, these more complicated meals are going to provide you better stats, including healing, max stamina, max health, and they're also going to last for significantly longer, making your more dangerous journeys much, much easier. Alright, and that kind of wraps it up. A short and sweet video on the food system, how it works, and what the good foods are and where to get them. Hopefully that helped you all. And again, I just want to shout out this valheim.fandom.com/wiki/food website. It is a fantastic resource for anything you need to know about food items. Thanks for watching. Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Wow, you watched all the way to the end. You madman. Thank you. I appreciate that. Now, I know normally this is where people say don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring those bells, but I'm going to try using the reverse psychology approach. Don't like, don't subscribe, don't ring that bell. And whatever you do, do not go to Twitch and look up Captain Rob Games.